Hi, this is Pat Duckworth, the author of Hot Women Rock, How to Discover Your Midlife Entrepreneurial Mojo. And recently I was in Delhi and at the Women Economic Forum, and I was honoured there with an award, and I'm just so grateful. So thank you to Dr. Harbeen Arora and to all of her team who made it a really wonderful event and a way to get out there, inspire other women. And that's what these videos are about, all these interviews. It's about inspiring women to think, yeah, I've had my challenges, I've had my ups and downs, but you know what, if I want to do something, I can do it. And that's what my guest today is about as well. So my guest today is a sales and marketing professional of 20 years experience working in the corporate world in information services, software, IT services and telecoms. But she left that corporate world nearly 2 years ago to work with her husband in their procurement franchise. And she also has her own business development consultancy providing sales and marketing advice to small business owners, in particular around the use of LinkedIn to grow their own personal brand, their business pipeline, and their revenue. And on top of all that, she's also a professional network marketer, and she shares her products and business opportunities to those that are open to the idea. So it's a big Hot Women Rock welcome this morning to Michelle Buchan. Hi, Michelle.
Good morning, Pat. Good morning to you.
Good morning. And there's that lovely picture of London in the background. And I should say we're recording this on the Monday after we had yet another terrorist incident in London. So just remembering everybody was caught up in that. I was in London on Saturday evening, walking through the park, thinking what an amazing city we live in, so much diversity. I saw all sorts of people having fun out there in the sun, and then to get home and hear that news in the evening, it's, yeah, it makes you take a deep breath, doesn't it, Michelle?
It absolutely does, Pat. And, you know, London is a huge city, and I love this city. There's so much to do. There are so many amazing people who live here. And I think that's the thing to remember about Saturday and every tragedy is that the people who are rushing to help, they're there. You know, there are more of us than there are of them, and we just have to get through this. Very tough. It's tough.
Yeah, absolutely. So Michelle, tell me a bit about your entrepreneurial journey. So you started out in corporate. Was this something when you left education that you thought, yep, this is where I want to be? How did you get into that first career?
I started and stopped and started again my education. So I did all those years ago, O-levels and higher in Scotland. And then I went to live in Paris for a year. I came back and then did an HNC and then went on to do my degree afterwards, but had no thought really about what it is that I wanted to do. So I kind of fell into a marketing role, which I enjoyed. It was enjoyable, and I developed my qualifications. I did the diploma in marketing with the Chartered Institute of Marketing, but then that company was taken over by another company, and I had an opportunity to go into sales. So I thought I'll try it, and I was successful at that and moved from sales role to sales role. So that's why I transitioned from information services into software, into IT services, and then into latterly telecoms, which really has been the largest part of my career, probably the last 12, 13 years, moved around in London, different companies that are telecoms providers. So I was in this role, I was successful, and you know, it's the money that drives you. So you're just driven from role to role because you're earning more money, and that is, you know, if that's how you measure your level of success, then it's successful. But then there comes a point when I had no work-life balance, did not exist. The conversation about holidays was tense. just let's not talk about that, because if I have to go on holiday, then I've got to come back to all this. And the kind of role that I had, I worked selling into the public sector, so there were a number of bids always spinning at the same time, and it was just so stressful. Just even thinking about going away, because having to come back and deal with all that, and it was never the right time to go on holiday. But after a long, serious conversation with my husband, it was, this is life. This is your life. What are we doing? And about 5 years ago, we bought into a procurement franchise. Ian was leading that up, but it was always with a mind of me going into that franchise. But it was, as ever, just what I said, never the right time. And then suddenly it was the right time. I just thought, I just don't want to do this anymore.
But what made it the right time, Michelle? What was the thing that made you think, got to do this now?
Yeah, I had moved to yet another company that had been taken over by a huge organization, and it, there was a movement of the chap that had employed me was moved to the side, and a new sales director came in, and it was tense. It was very tense, and I'd been through that several times. I have very sharp elbows. That cut and thrust is an environment I thrived in. But then I just thought it was just the timing. I just thought I'm done with this. This is the right time to move over. And I moved into the business working alongside my husband. But we were really clear about what the roles were going to be. I didn't want to just jump in and, to have any tension there, because I think that could happen if you're working with your life partner. So we were quite clear about what I would do and what he would do. And I naturally just moved into the sales and marketing within our franchise. So, it is a franchise. It's there are guidelines. We don't do our own marketing because the franchise does it for us. But because of the work that I was doing for us, for Ian and I then decided to offer those sales and marketing support services to other consultants in the franchise network, and offer those same services through my other business, BuchanArundell, out to one-man bands and small businesses that are looking for support to build their own brand, build their pipeline, build their expertise, and particularly using LinkedIn, because the world of sales is, like everyone's industry, changing very, very quickly.
So when you moved into working in that franchise and then setting up doing your own work as well, were there new skills that you had to develop? What was the change that you noticed most from moving out of corporate into doing that new role?
Well, you have to do everything for yourself.
That is, that is the shocker, isn't it?
That is. It's like, the laptop's not working. Something is in the business is not working, especially around IT. Although I'd been selling IT services, didn't know how to do it myself. So you quickly become your own help desk.
Yeah.
And really going back to basics, picking up the phone, making appointments, really understanding the business. I worked for an organization, several of them, where when you introduced the organization you were working with, it opened doors. And to go back to a position of being with a very small company, no one knew who you were. And what we do, people don't wake up in the morning and think, I think I'll look at my costs today. You've really got to introduce that service to them. You've got to make them, you've got to spark an interest in them so they think, I'll have a look at that. And you're doing everything yourself. It's, to begin with, very overwhelming. So the way I got through that was just to block time, and allocate time to things, because what I was finding at the beginning was days were running away and I hadn't achieved anything. And I just thought, I have to get some structure here. Because when you work for yourself, you've got to create that structure. When you work for another organization, you get up in the morning, you go to work, and then you come home. And
Yeah.
that structure is in place for you. When you work for yourself, you've got to create it.
Yeah, and you know, that whole bit of suddenly you have to do everything for yourself. Well, I mean, you don't have to do everything for yourself, but you've got to think how you're going to do all of this. You know, because I went from having a team and support, and you know, if I had an idea, I passed it off to somebody else and they dealt with it, to now, if I've got an idea, what am I going to do about it? It's up to me to decide what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do.
That's right. That's right. I mean, the flip side is that if you have an idea and you want to take it forward, it is yours to take
Yeah.
forward. You don't lose that. You don't pass it off to someone who decides not to do it or does it very badly. It's down to you. It's your idea, and you take it forward. There's real power in that.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's one of the main advantages. Everything that you do, you're doing for yourself. And that makes, that just makes you so empowered, I think.
Oh, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Just when you can look at something and think, I did that.
Yeah, I created that. That's
Yeah,
just a wonderful feeling. So
absolutely.
this is Pat Duckworth, and today I'm talking to Michelle Buchan. And Michelle, you said that in the early part of your life, it was the money that was important. And I think most of us in the early stages, when we're trying to set up our homes and feather our nests,
Yes.
the money's important, but there's going to be underlying values that guide what you do and what you don't do. But you know, when you and I talked recently, I got this real sense of purpose from you. So tell us about about your sense of purpose and how that guides you.
I really found my purpose, my why, my burning desire, I call it, when I started my network marketing business. The world of work that I had been in was not a level playing field. It just simply wasn't. Lots of barriers, lots of obstacles in the way. And sometimes if your face doesn't fit, then that's just too bad. And I'm not one for hanging around and, trying to, get to the bottom of things. I always believed you just get to move on. But when I was introduced to the network marketing business, it's a business model that has no barriers to entry. It does not discriminate and is a level playing field. So for me, it facilitated the economic empowerment of women, because as I grew up in the west of Scotland with, surrounded by strong women, Clyde built, we say up there, strong women, but without the money, without their own economy, that power only went so far. They may have been in charge of their households, but it didn't go further than that. But these were the most capable. These women could have been running industries, the way they ran their homes and their lives and their extended families' lives. And I firmly believe that women that are economically empowered can positively impact on their families and their communities, because that's what happens when women are economically empowered. And I'd been through so many jobs where it wasn't a level playing field. There were barriers there. When I found this business model, I just thought, this just works. Now, fundamentally, you've got to have the belief that it will work, because if you don't believe it, then it will certainly not work. But if you're willing to work at it, it is just, if I sell my product and a man sells the same product in the network marketing business, I earn the same as him. And if I recruit someone into my business and he does, then I earn the same as him. What the imbalance comes only when one person works harder than the other. It is simply like that. And, for people who are, even in my own industry of, my profession of sales, by 2020, I was reading last week, 25% less jobs. Could be more if you read different sources, but all those jobs are going. So what is your plan? What are you going to do? There are only so many roles out there. Now, network marketing is certainly not for everyone. It just isn't. But for some people, if they have an open mind and take a look at it, then it can certainly be for them.
And I think you get amazing training with
Oh,
network marketing. You know, if you are a new entrepreneur and you're not sure about how to sell, or, you know, keeping yourself motivated, you get some amazing training with different networking organizations.
absolutely. Every organization will have its own, it will have its own plan that you follow, every one of them. But this industry understands that if you don't have that belief, the plan doesn't work. So it works with you to help you build your belief in yourself. I've never had the personal development that I've had with this industry. And over the last 2 years, I have grown personally more than I have in the last 20 or 30 years in any other industry. It just, you know, it's just unbelievable if people are just open just to having a look at it.
And obviously building a network it's important in any business, any entrepreneurial enterprise. You've got to have a network. But especially so if you're doing network marketing, I mean, the clue's in the name. So how have you developed your network since you started that?
As they say, your network is your net worth. And I would have to say, when I was when I was working, I was very narrowly focused on my network. It was the people around me that I focused on because they helped me deliver. But since I've come into network marketing, I joined Women in Business Network, which I love.
Where we met?
Where we met, honestly.
When you did my pitch for me. I mean, we didn't meet then because I was away, but thank you, you did my pitch.
Yes, I got to say Hot Women Rock. I thought, I'm so excited about that. It was fantastic. But, you know, it's about going out and meeting people, engaging people in a conversation. Just a smile and a nod and a hello is very often all it takes. I don't know whether or not living in London had made me very blinkered. Even when I went down to the gym, I live in a development where we have a gym downstairs. I noticed that when I went down to the gym after I left the corporate world, I was looking around thinking, have these people just all joined? I didn't even recognize these people, but now I know my neighbors, I know the people in the gym, I know lots of people because I make it my business to talk to people.
Yeah.
And it's great fun. It's really nice. There are so many lovely people out there. You learn so many interesting things about them. So it's developing me, first of all. That's how I'm growing my network, by developing me to help give me the skills to actually go out and have a conversation with someone.
So if you had one top tip for a new entrepreneur, would it be around the developing yourself? What would be your top tip?
Oh, you know, everybody wants to change the world, but before you change the world, you've got to change yourself. So start on yourself. Go to work on you because you're the most important person, and don't quit. It's tough. It can be really tough. There are some really difficult days, but there are some amazing days. So just don't quit. Just keep going. And there are lots and lots of resources that you can plug into, you know, when you've had a bad day, listen to something that will make you feel upbeat, you know, if it's music or someone else saying to you, I've had a bad day like that too. Just don't quit and just keep going.
Lovely. Thank you so much. So, Michelle, if anybody watching wants to make contact with you or find out more about you, how can they do that?
Well, they can contact me through my website, BuchanArundell.com. I'm also on Facebook, Michelle Buchan, or BuchanArundell is the business page. And of course, I'm on LinkedIn. So have a look for me and just introduce yourself. I'd love to chat.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you for sharing your experience and your tips with us. And to all our viewers, thank you for watching. I hope you've taken some really good advice from this. And I look forward to seeing you next time when we interview the next great entrepreneur. Have a great day.